Hi there, my name's Caroline Hopkins, and today I will be presenting my project that I've been working on all semester. For my project, I had decided to work with Three Rivers Rowing Association, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The reason for choosing this project rather than the startups and the other nonprofit that was offered is because for my future after college, I really care about working for a nonprofit rather than working for a company that cares more about making money for themselves rather than their own individual customers. I really seem to care about the well being of others, and I want to enact that in my future career. I also would like to talk about how the How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie has really influenced my style of sales, and not only that, but my style of being a human being. I think this book is a fantastic read for anyone, not even just in sales, but just any human being. I think not only it teaches you how to be a good person to other people, it teaches you how to be a good person to yourself, which I think is even more important than being good to other people as well. For my search, I use LinkedIn mostly. I started off by using the recommended, quote, WVU sales alum that was recommended to us in eCampus. This helped me find a lot of popular sales and business representatives in Morgantown and Pittsburgh. I then went through these people's followings to find more prospects that would be interested in donating. As I found these people's profiles, I then would put their information into Zoom Info, and then I would use Zoom Info to find their phone number, their email, where they work, and more helpful details that I can relate to in my sales call. Unfortunately, this way of prospecting did not end up giving me many helpful results. So I decided to change my way of prospecting and sales. So I ended up meeting with Professor Brower a couple of times to talk about my issues and my strengths and stuff that I needed to change. He gave me a lot of really helpful tips that actually projected me into making a couple sales. He gave me tips such as to make my script more personalized. It was sounding very robotic-y, and to how to figure out how to combine my styles of sales with the recommended script. It was really important to me to really personalize and make it me rather than just everyone else. After speaking with Professor Brower after class, I decided that I still needed some more help, and he gave me the advice to go up to talk to Kyle Kovic, who was the speaker at that today's class. He is a sales representative at Cintas with a lot of experience. So I went up to him and his assistant, and I told them basically all the rules with my project, and they gave me some really good advice that I actually used later down the path, such as using contacts in the area, like sports local stores and stuff like that. And then we decided that would be some good practice to actually do my sales call with him. So the next day, around 2:30 p.m., we scheduled the call, and I did my script with him. And after that, we talked for about 30 minutes about my improvements and what I needed to do, the stuff I did right, and stuff like that. So it was very helpful. He also sparked some needed confidence in me, just kind of hearing what he had to say and kind of telling me that, hey, I am kind of on the right path. It definitely boosted me into making the leads that I did need to make. And then Professor Brower also recommended that we could also use family friends who were in sales and stuff like that to practice our sales script with. So I reached out to a family friend who was a Pitt alum, and he also is a sales representative for State Farm. I did the call with him. I did not expect a deal to be made. I just wanted it for the helpful practice. But he ended up donating $50 at the end of the call. It went way better than I anticipated it to go. There were some hiccups that I did do, but it seemed like at the end of the call, I was able to kind of win him over towards the project and what we were all about. And then after I had kind of a better understanding of how to make leads and how to make actual money in this project, I had so much more confidence going into it. Professor Brower actually also mentioned that we could use professors to reach out to. So what I did was I used a lot of emails for this role. I collected their emails and phone numbers. For the emails, I used specifically your help needed, Three Rivers Rowing Association to kind of spark that emotional trail into this project. Most professors did not end up responding. However, I ended up reaching to about 15. A couple did answer, but they politely declined. One by the name of Joseph Derby was actually able to donate. It was through via email, which I was very surprised about. But that kind of even showed me more that, hey, email leads do actually work as well as just cold calling people. Then I decided to use Kyle's advice he gave me and to start reaching out to local businesses in the area. So I was able to change my script to more of a business entail to the association rather than individuals. I added more emotional ties. I highlighted the help needed section. I also used Google to help find those local small businesses to reach out to. I definitely wanted to make sure they were local and not big corporations, so I could speak to a manager or someone like a big representative right then and there. I ended up not getting the best results from this again, but I still was able to get a lot of leads and a lot of experience with this practice. Again, it just kept on boosting my confidence with getting denied with these donations, but it kept on making me want to do more and keep on getting these more leads and more prospecting and stuff like that. I was also able to learn that it's okay to push for a little more with those companies. At the end of the call, I was able to ask them again if they were interested a couple more times, and I learned that it was okay to do that without necessarily upsetting them. The final results of my project ended up being a lot better than I expected. With using tools such as LinkedIn, ZoomInfo, Facebook, and Google, I was able to secure 4 donations totaling $100 with almost 60 prospects. Most of my donations were from fellow sales associates and environmental activists, with one professor from West Virginia University. As all the calls went on, I started securing sales. I ended up feeling so much more confident in my abilities, and my expectations were enormously exceeded. Like I said before, I was not expecting to do as well with this project, but I ended up securing a lot of the donations that I really did need. In conclusion, for my project, I'm extremely proud of myself and the work that I did, especially towards the end when I started stressing out about not getting the donations that I was expecting. I really put in the work towards the end, and I really worked really hard to fix my sales script as much as I could, and I consider it a very big success for my first time cold calling. I learned enormous amounts of information in this class, not just from the cold call, but from the textbook, the book that we read, and I learned specifically how to make a script and tailoring it to the right prospects. I learned how many times to push for a donation. That was definitely something that I struggled with before. I learned the different kinds of prospects to develop and find, more specifically who to look out for. And finally, my confidence levels, I know I keep mentioning it, but my confidence is enormously exceeded than before it was from the beginning of the semester. I feel as though if someone were to ask me to start cold calling without any other information, background whatsoever, I would be much more prepared to make a sale for that company, no matter what kind of background that they have, or I do as well. And finally, I would like to conclude my presentation with my actual findings from personal selling too. My favorite part of this class was actually, like I said before, the How to Win Friends and Influence book by Dale Carnegie. Like I said, this book offers not just advice on how to be good to other people, but how to use those same tools and tricks to funnel them into yourself and getting you to be a better person. And I actually have a note on my laptop that has about 10 to 15 quotes from that book that I continue to look at daily. I think there's some quotes in there that you can't really find from any other books that are out there. And then my least favorite part of this class was actually, I wish it was a bit more organized. I think it would have been helpful if we had the various leaders from the businesses that we were working with this semester come in for maybe like a day or two or a week and lecture us about what they're looking for their various businesses. I think that would have been really helpful towards our sales script and our sales presentation. But all in all, I feel as though if someone were to ask me to start cold calling without any other information, no contacts, no way of doing it, I definitely would have a way to start, a better understanding of how to get those sales done for that company. And I think that's the most important takeaway from this class.